All right, welcome everybody to Treats and Eats with Krista and Jodi, January edition. Um, if you saw our little advertisement for this demo, you know we are doing an egg-stravaganza today. So I wore my only shirt that is the color of eggs. So that's why I'm in a sweatshirt because,
You should have called me first.
sorry, I had to wear my egg shirt. And it's also funny because this is a hockey shirt. And I broke my shoulder and tore my rotator cuff playing hockey. So it's a very fitting shirt for our demo today. Um, I will, eagle eggs. Yeah. I will try my best to cook one-armed again. And it does also show you guys kind of the beauty of cooking with Thrive because you can cook one-handed pretty dang well. I should be in the sling for only another couple more weeks, hopefully. So let's talk about why we're talking about eggs. I have noticed that eggs went up a lot. I was at work the other day and someone was like, my husband just told me that the eggs were $15. I don't know what kind of huge egg thing they were buying, but that's a lot for eggs. And so I was looking and I posted in my Facebook group, like, how much are eggs in your area? So I'm curious in the chat, put how much a dozen eggs are in your area. Um, it's anywhere from $6 to $10 at the grocery stores around here for a dozen eggs. And I remember when they used to be 99 cents. So,
I
okay.
will tell you that I was in Utah last weekend and they couldn't buy eggs in Utah. Like
That's
you
what my
could,
friend in Utah said too. The
yeah,
stores just have none.
yeah. And they have a new law in Utah that says only organic or only cage free or whatever it is. So that happens to be part of the reason. But yeah, there are no eggs in Utah.
Someone has 1.99 a dozen. What the heck?
Yeah, where are you?
I know. Like, give me some of those eggs, please. So when things go up, I tend to eat out of my food storage. And you guys all, if you've watched our show before, you know a lot of times we talk about the colored cans. So I want to show you. These are the old cans. These are the new cans. So eggs bought in this color of cans were much cheaper than eggs bought in this color of cans. So I actually did some digging because I thought it was kind of hilarious. And I found the price of eggs. So a pantry can, this was back in like 2019 was the one I could find, was 26.99 a pantry can. And right now, a pantry can's 33.12. That's not as big of a difference. The family can 6-pack right now, which is the cheapest way to get them, 543.11. And back here was 381.89 in 2019. When did you buy your purple can eggs, Krista?
2014.
Mine are 2013. Technically, they say they expire in 7 years, but it's 7 to 10 years, and we're gonna test them out and see if they're still good today. Because I'm not throwing away eggs when they're so expensive. So, the good news is, even if you didn't buy them back then, if you buy them now, then if egg prices continue to go up or go up again, you're gonna be eating eggs at today's prices, not tomorrow's prices 10 years from now. So it's a cool lesson, and everything with food storage is that way. So I love shopping and knowing I'm going to eat it 20 years down the road because prices obviously will be expensive 20 years down the road. So there are some numbers that you can crunch on the eggs on the website too. Well, they have it listed on the website, but it's basically if you get it in the biggest bulk package possible, it's 88 cents a serving, which is one egg. But and so that when you hear that, you don't think that sounds that cheap, but like I said, you're buying it at today's prices, but also it's so the serving size is 2 tablespoons. Most powdered eggs are 1 tablespoon for like a medium egg. So if you're doing a recipe or you know you're not used to using extra large eggs, you could easily do 1 tablespoon and it would cut your price in half. So, or cut your price per serving in half. So it does actually become pretty cost effective. And then we're also going to talk about some other stuff that's on sale today too as we get going. But we're going to just start cooking. I do want to make one other quick announcement. If you are a consultant or you become a consultant for Thrive, which you don't have to sell. You can if you want to. You can just be a consultant for yourself and buy from yourself instead of from one of us. But then you get 20% if it's like your first 3 months, 20% back, cash back in food, free food. So it also is another 20% off your eggs. So we have ways to make them cheaper. So if you're curious about that, get with whoever invited you to the demo and we can give you more details. So now for the fun part. Now that we've talked about eggs a lot and yellow shirts and hockey. So we are going to make 6 things today, and somehow accidentally I gave Krista all the hard ones for some reason. So she's going to start. But I guess it's because I'm injured. So she volunteered to do more of the hard ones. But she's going to get going and make stuff that has to cook longer. And we're going to kind of do our normal back and forth. And we will show you. While she's talking, I'm going to put some links to like the rest of the specials, but we will try to highlight what is on sale this month as we go. All right, Krista, I'm going to pin you.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Okay, so here's my little tidbit on eggs. Okay, I'm going to show you what the eggs, I'm going to dip my computer down so you can kind of see my little workspace here. And we're going to do a little experiment. So here's my bowl that we're going to be making bread first because it stays in the oven the longest. Okay, but I did want to show you this. See my eggs? Do you see? Okay, if I shine the light on, do you see how it sparkles? Can you see that at all? Can anybody see that? That is okay. So, when you have an egg and you spill an egg on the counter and it dries and it's shiny, right? That's this. These are real eggs, people. I'm I abhor the old, like 30 years, 40 years, probably 50 years ago, powdered eggs. I like had to choke them down as a kid, right? They were really gross. I love these. I love them. They're real eggs. It's awesome. Okay, so let's get started on this.
They absorb the water way better than old dried powdered eggs, and they
Yeah.
cook up better. We're going to show you actually cooking eggs later.
Yep, we are. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so what I'm doing first is I'm going to get a bread in the oven because it cooks the longest. So, and this recipe, this is a peach and strawberry bread, but we are going to sub out the strawberries for cranberries because number one, they're on sale again this month, which I'm so excited about. I put those in my delivery. They're one of my favorite products on the planet, actually. In fact, I usually go through a number 10 can just for the holidays in my house. So we're going to start with that. And this recipe calls for, this is actually a meal in a jar from Jodi from several, I don't remember when it was, but we're doing a recipe of hers. And so she did it in a jar. So if you want information on that, she will actually probably send that out with the recipes. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Now in this recipe, she says, take your jar, everything that's in there, dump it in, add a cup of water and let it sit for 15 minutes. Well, we don't have 15 minutes. Okay. And that's to reconstitute everything, right? And get everything all nice and ready to go in the oven and cook for bread, right? So we're going to do the easy method. Okay. So I'm going to dip this down a little bit more and we're going to kind of go through this really quick. Okay. I got peaches. Okay. Everyone, if you've ever been on this call before, you know this is my favorite. Like I opened the can this morning and it's gone. And I just need a cup and I knew that because but this is peaches. So, and it tells you to break it up into pieces, right? I like bigger pieces of peaches, but I wanted to show you what this really looks like. Can you see that? It looks like an actual real peach that is sliced from a real peach. And it is. It's just freeze dried. So the moisture is just missing. So all I did to get my cup is I broke it up like this. Now you can choose to hit it with a stapler like I do. Like put it in a Ziploc first, then hit it with a stapler. Or because it's heavy. But I mean, you could break it up like this, you could do however it is you want it to, and you can put it into pieces however you like it. These are, I want to put more in there than just 1 cup, but we're going to stop at a cup because I have guests. My studio audience is here today. Yay. Hi, studio audience. See, they're in the background. See, they're even on camera too. All right. So here's the shortcut. It says to sit it for 15 minutes. We don't have time to do that, but I want this to get reconstituted, right? So there, I'm going to dump it in there, my peaches and my cranberries. And then I'm going to pour my water. The amount of water that goes in there. And then I'm going to grab a spoon. Now the cranberries, they reconstitute really, really quick. The peaches, not as quick, but pretty quick. So we're just gonna stir that around for now. And then we're gonna think about adding the rest of our ingredients. Because when you're doing a meal in a jar, basically it's dump, add your water and go, right? And we've talked about that many times. We'll probably talk about it again. We'll keep talking about it, right? But I want to give these kind of a head start before they actually, get in the recipe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. The rest we just dump and add. Here's some cinnamon and a little bit of salt and a little bit of baking powder. I've got my sugar. I've got applesauce. This is Thrive applesauce. This is a great, you can actually use this as a oil substitute, right? And then I've got my flour. And all these dry ingredients would be in the jar, so I just normally dump the jar, right? But again, we're trying to save some time here because I got to get this in the oven. So we are going to mix this puppy. Sorry, Sally. She's like, is it done yet? I want some. And this is just basically, I mean, you could put any fruit you wanted in here, right? I just love the peaches. I'm mad in love with the peaches. I eat more peaches than anything in this house. Oh, and it smells so good. I'm taking peaches to the Dominican next week. I love me some peaches. All right. All right, so this is, oh, you know what I forgot? Forgot to add the eggs. Did we ever tell you that this is live?
The whole point was that there is eggs in the recipe.
Right? But see, this is what's wonderful about Thrive is that it is very forgiving. It is very forgiving. That's awesome.
And the good thing with baking with the eggs, you don't have to reconstitute them with water first and then put them in. You just put dry with dry, wet with wet, and they're perfect for jar meals.
Yep, that is true. Thank you for that.
So you didn't have to add any liquid to the recipe. So your fat, you didn't have to add oil or butter because you had the applesauce.
Yep.
It's a very cool recipe.
Yeah. So this looks awesome. So we are going to grab my loaf pan. We're going to get a spatula.
See, I always watch you and then I wish I would have made what you're making.
So make sure stuff last month. Yeah, you did all the sweet stuff last month. That's what Katie said. All right, so we are going to put this in there.
My husband saw I was making cookies this month and he was mad at me.
Of course he was, because he's not eating cookies, is he?
No, because we're trying to go on a diet right now, like everybody else.
Yeah. No comment. I'm starting February 1st. All right, there's my bread. It is going in the oven. Does someone in my house like to set a timer for 40 minutes?
I will.
Awesome.
Someone in my house.
Okay, cool. How was that? That was bread. It was easy bread. Easy quick. All right. So I'm gonna do my next recipe, at least get it started, and then we're gonna turn it back over to Jodi. My next recipe is, just give me a second here. Okay, I did not screw up. Yay. For a minute there. Oh, and do you like my beach hair? I'm trying new beach hairstyles. I don't know. Some are working, some are not. Okay, so my next recipe is going to be, we're going to use my Ninja. We're actually going to use a couple of different kitchen appliances. And we are going to grab some black beans from the fridge. So we are going to make, what are these called? Black bean chocolate cupcakes. Okay. So this is a pretty easy recipe, but this is is this flourless? No, but you can use,
it is. It's gluten.
Yes, it is gluten free. We did this on a gluten-free segment a year or 2 or 3 ago. It was a while back. And it was amazing. So we are redoing it because number one, it has eggs in it, right? It's got eggs and they're right there. So, but black beans are also on special this month. And so I actually did a little bit of pre-cooking. And so I cooked these earlier today and let them cool because the recipe says rinse them with cold water and then throw them in the fridge for a little while. So we're going to put those in my blender because this is going to be our flour. I won't forget the eggs, Rory. Thank you very much. My studio
And
audience.
Kat, you can make gluten-free like brownies or cupcakes with the beans because they, once they're cooked and dried and turn into the paste, they kind of replace the flour in a recipe. It's weird, but it works. And it's
Right.
not disgusting, especially chocolate. If there's chocolate, then it masks the bean flavor.
Right, it does. So next thing I'm going to put in here is my eggs. So here's my quarter cup of eggs, which is 2 eggs. And then what else do I need to put in here? Egg mixture and vanilla. So here's my vanilla, and then I need my water. Right? Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. 3/4 cup of water. I've got 3/4 cups around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I am losing my mind tonight. Okay. So there's my water. Put the lid on my Ninja. We're gonna spin this really quick.
I have a funny story about these black bean cupcakes. I do my emergency preparedness challenge every year, and one year it was like make a dessert using your food storage, and I did that day on the day of my daughter's birthday. So I made black bean cupcakes for her birthday. She was not very impressed. I thought they were amazing for what they were, but she was like, "Why couldn't you just make normal food?" So that's my black bean story. Oh, Krista, I think you're frozen.
It's frozen on mine.
Oh, no, you're not frozen anymore.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
someone said they couldn't hear me. Maybe my story didn't work.
I heard most of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's because it turns your volume off when you're doing your buzzy thing.
Oh, it should turn you off too, though.
Well, I don't
I
know.
can twirl it one more time. Hold on.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, next thing. Get rid of this. Next appliance, mixer. Love how I switched that really quick. Let me turn it this way a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. We are going to. Are you frozen? Oh, she's not again. Okay. All right. So we are mixing up butter and sugar until creamy.
All silent when her mixer's on. That's so
Gonna
cool.
give it a minute.
So they are gluten-free. They're not fat-free, obviously, with all the butter that's in it.
Okay. So it's almost soft and smooth. So give me 30 more seconds to a minute. And then I'm going to add baking soda, baking powder, and my cocoa powder, and then we'll be able to get this going. scrape the sides. Oh no. What did I do?
What did you do?
I know. What did I do? I'm messing with my kitchen. There we go. Okay. My little Bosch doesn't know what I did. Does not seem like it's enough. It's a little bit. There we go. Now it's starting. Sorry.
That's why live TV is the best.
All right. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So I've got that done. Let's see. Baking soda, and beat till smooth. Okay. So now we're going to add, so you can see what the consistency looks like for the batter so far. This is just the cream, the sugar, baking powder, and all that good stuff. And now we're going to add the bean mixture to this bowl. Which is this guy, if you can see that. He looks like a chocolate milkshake, actually.
Sure, it doesn't taste like a chocolate milkshake.
No, I don't think.
It's like beans. Our beans are good, but not as a drink.
Yeah, right. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna get the sides going. All right. Start beating. I don't have the patience for this Bosch mixture. Do you ever have problems with that? When I tell it to stop, it should stop. It doesn't have to go around one more time. Do you ever have that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, one more for good measure.
One more. Yeah, no, stop when I tell you to stop. And that could be just me not having patience. And give it one more good mix. Make sure we get everything. All right. Ready to see the finished product here?
Yes. Yeah. Yay.
Woohoo. Yay. So I am going to go ahead and put this in my muffin tin and get it in the oven. In the meantime, I'm going to turn it over back to Jodi. Yes, I
Yay.
do. And there we go. So she can get started on her stuff and then we'll come back to me. Sound good?
Yes. It looks just like cake batter. It's awesome.
It does. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay. Let me make sure I got it where I got so much stuff today, but I'm doing it in 2 batches. Okay. I told you I was making cookies. Oh, my head's cut off. Try not to cut off my head on the way. Oh, I gotta make myself big. Sorry. Been one of those days, guys. Pin. Big pin. Okay. Now I'm big. So we have done a Christmas cookies recipe in a jar with gift tags and everything. It's super cute and fun. And this has been my sample display model for a while. I had to make sure I wasn't muted. So because you don't really need to see me dump everything in the jar to see it go together, and I only have one arm, I'm going to actually finally cook my display model. the shelf for a couple years, so we'll see if the cookies still turn out good. So the beauty of meals in a jars, we don't just do meals in a jar. You can do dessert in a jar, you can do cake mix in a jar, you can do scrambled eggs in a jar, all kinds of stuff. So all you have to do is dump. Keep dumping. So there are eggs in this. Sometimes, ouch, if you have all your powders at the bottom, they can stick in the bottom a little bit. My brown sugar is a little clumpy, but it's all good. Now I have to make a new display model for my Christmas cookies, but it's okay. It smells pretty good still. So this does have eggs in it too. It also has obviously cranberries. And then we're gonna add, it does need butter, sorry. It was half a cup of melted butter. They're cookies, it's not diet food. And 2 tablespoons of water. I might not even need to use my hand mixer. I'll be able to just stir it. We'll see. A wee bit hard stirring with your left hand. It's also really hard to brush your teeth left-handed, but I'm getting better at it. Yeah, I think if I try to hand mix it, it's gonna go all over the place. So I'm just gonna, or I mean, if I try to use my hand mixer, I'm just gonna stir it up. So I have to tell you a story. They have these cutest bowls at Costco, like vintage retro, cute colored Tupperware bowls. So I had to use them all for the show so you could see how cute they are. I'm really excited. I bought them for my mom for Christmas too, because she used to have these ones, but like in the orange and browns, kind of like from the 80s and 70s. So this mixture, because it was so much butter, it's a really kind of gooey, wet, wet cookie mixture. But it's a nice cookie recipe because it's got oats in it, and so it's chewy. And then you got the tartness of the cranberries and the sweetness of sugar and the white chocolate chips. So it's super festive. I know we're past Christmas, but you can have oatmeal cookies anytime. So once you have it all mixed, then I just use my meatball scoop. It's my best thing ever for cookie dough. So I'm gonna spray my pan. I forgot to preheat the oven. And yes, someone was saying they're excited to get all the recipes. So we try to take pictures of the finished products, type up all the recipes, and send the replay video to everybody that registered. If you're on the call, then we know you registered. So you'll definitely get them. And just be patient. It takes us a couple days to get it all together. So I use my cookie dough scoop, and I mean, the meatball scoop, but I use it for cookie doughs. I did wash my hands already, so we're good there. And it just kind of makes a flat, condensed cookie ball, and just whoop, right on tray. It'd be easier if I was just using more of my hands, but we're doing the best we can. I would probably squish it with my hands or use the hand mixer, but it's all good. So I'm gonna make cookie dough balls, but you don't need to sit and watch me struggle doing that for 12 cookies. So that's my first one. Don't eat the dough. Just kidding. Oh, it still tastes good. Krista, do you want to do your next part, or do you want me to go? I was gonna do my last 2 after, but are you ready to do your next one?
Yeah, I am.
We'll do it, and then I'll do my longer one after. So she's gonna finish the last one, and then I have 2 fun things where we're actually gonna cook eggs, so I gotta get that ready. But I'm gonna put some of these in the oven real quick.
Okay, cool. All right. So the next one I'm going to do is we're gonna move this really quick. Move this way. Okay, so you can see my little work area. Okay, so we are going to this is one of my favorite recipes actually. I make this every Christmas for Christmas breakfast. I make breakfast. In my house, we call it little baby quiches. That's what we call it. But the actual name of them is quiche Lorraine tartlets. That's what they are. So that's what we're making really quick. But all of the stuff that's on sale this month is in this, and you can pick and choose whatever it is you want to use with it, right? So for example, it calls for bacon. You can use ground beef, you can use the sausage, you can use whatever you want. I actually had some cooked bacon ready to go, so I'm using the bacon. But I am using Thrive red bell peppers, okay, and obviously eggs, powdered eggs, right? I've got them right here. And I'm using green onions. I'm using cheddar cheese. Green onions aren't on sale. In fact, they're going to be a seasonal item. And let me explain to you what that means. So that means that it wasn't the biggest seller on the planet. And sometimes it's really expensive. You know how when you want an apple in June, they're more expensive, right? Or because it's not the season, or an orange in the summer, right? It's not the season. Winter is the season for citrus. So it's going to be more expensive in those areas. Same kind of thing. We want to pass that savings on to you. So there is a season for green onions and celery and all the things, and they do them seasonally so that they can bring them in, use or sell what they've got, right? And then it's cheaper for them to reorder. And we would try and pass those savings on to our customers. So that's kind of how that happens and how that works. And green onions are one of those things that just went on the seasonal list. So, and they're out of stock currently, but when they come back in stock and come back in season, definitely when you see them, buy them. Okay. Because green onions are actually one of my most favorite things ever. So we're gonna do this really quick here. And so what we're gonna take our eggs, our powdered eggs, right? So we got our powdered eggs. Put this down again so you can see. We got powdered eggs. We're gonna take the eggs. We're gonna add the water. And this is just 2 eggs, so it's a 1/4 cup of stuff. And then we're gonna add some half and half and a little bit of salt. So there's my salt, and we are gonna whisk this together. Until it's all nice and incorporated. This is the best part because I don't have to get raw egg on my hands when I crack an egg open. I mean, I'm almost to a point where I can do it with one hand and only get one hand dirty, but you're still washing your hands, right? So we are going to make sure that that's all nice and done. And then we are going to pour this. Pour this in a measure all cup. Okay, have you ever seen these? This is a Pampered Chef item, not to like sell you on, but they have a spout on these measure all cups that is perfect. It never like pours down the side. It is a perfect pouring cup. And so we're going to pour our egg mixture into there because we are going to use that pointed end in a minute. We're going to set that aside for 2 seconds. And I'm going to get my crust going because these are quiches, right? Little baby quiches from Krista. All right. And I like to do fancy once in a while. Okay. So I used, what I used. I used a bread tin. Have you guys ever used a bread tin? It's got a shape. And so I used that to cut out my little tartlets. And so you can see that I've dust off the little thingies, and I have another little tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put that. Oh, Krista, don't break the crust. We need the crust. All right. So I get my little, let's see if I can move this over a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. You can see what I've done so far. I just saved 3 of them to do now. But I broke the crust, so I got to fix that. Hold on. Oh my gosh. It's so bad. It's been a day, people. We're gonna put that in there like that. All right. Do a couple more here. Ooh. All right. We're just going to put him in here. And then here's my last one. And this is a silicone little little holder thingy. And so I'm just putting them in there. Okay, so I got my things ready to go. I got my egg mixture ready to go. My last thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the insides of my quiche, right? So we're going to add red bell peppers, and all I did was chop these up with a knife. That's it. Easy to do. You could break them. You could do whatever we did earlier, but I love doing it that way. This is green onions. We're going to put that in here too, and my bacon. I think, what else do I put in here? I think that's it. Bacon, bell pepper, finely chopped green onions, grate cheese, and we're going to put the cheese in here too. Now, cheddar cheese, I just realized before I grated this, after I grated this, I realized that cheddar cheese was on sale. So we could have talked about the cheese, but we talk about the cheese a lot in these demos. Everyone online should probably agree with me because we talk about it a lot. So we're
Don't
just
worry,
kind
I'm cooking with the cheese.
of do what?
I'm cooking with the cheese.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Jody's going to talk about it. She's going to cover it here in a minute. Awesome. My dog really likes cheese. That's like her favorite. So we're going to mix this together just like this, and then we're going to put it together and it's going to be ready for the oven. All three of my things are going in the oven. Okay. So we are going to pour the egg in here. This is why this little knobby thing is so perfect for this dish, because I have to pour over everything. So we are going to pour the egg mixture in first. We're going to do this in just these first 6 because I want to get it back over to Jodi. And then we're just going to fill the rest of the cup with our little mixture here. And as it sinks to the bottom and hydrates the pepper and gets going in there. You could, but I want to kind of evenly, so Katie asked if you can mix it all together. You probably could, but I usually end up with more stuffing than egg mixture, and I want to make sure I use the eggs. Does that make sense? Because I've actually made like a separate ramekin of little baby eggs. And then we're going to top it with one more thing. Little cherry tomatoes. Okay, so they're going to go right in the middle. And then I usually just sprinkle a little bit of salt on top for the tomato. And then I stick them in the oven. Okay, so these are my little baby quiches, otherwise known as quiche, Lorraine, tartlets, whatever's. I'm going to throw it back to Jodi, and then I'm going to throw these in the oven, and then we'll come back for a final viewing.
So when I assign you egg cups, mine are just all thrown together and poured in a pan, not with cute little crusts and everything. So you did it to yourself, making it hard. I'm just going to throw that out there. Krista is extra. She's
This is
fancy. And
special.
she does parties and planning and flowers and food, and she does it awesome. So
Stop.
and they always look so good, but mine tastes good. So,
No.
okay, someone asked if we could use Thrive butter in the Christmas cookies. I have honestly never used Thrive butter in a cookie recipe. I don't know what it would do to the texture of the recipe, but I would love to try it. I did make German pancakes with Thrive eggs. So I've made it with powdered milk a lot, but I had never dared do it with eggs because the whole thing is eggs. They were good. They worked. So we are going to make. Okay, I just got this new griddle for Christmas. So I'm gonna use it for the demo. Yay! So we're gonna make some stuff with eggs. I'm gonna start with actually not eggs. We're gonna go back to the cranberries in the pink container because that means that they're cheap. 2013. My food storage is getting old, just like me. Okay, So all I'm gonna do is make a fruit compote. You can make this with whatever kind of fruit you want. But obviously, we're making cranberries because they're on sale and they're delicious. For most fruit, I'll do for like a compote. Try to get a cup, but it didn't fit in there very good. 1 cup of fruit to 1 tablespoon of sugar. Cranberries are a little bit tart, even though they say they're sweetened cranberries. I'm just gonna do 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I'm gonna let it sit in water for a little bit and then just blend it up. You could go fancy. We did a cranberry, like a homemade cranberry sauce recipe that was good. You could make it like a syrup. I'm just making like a very basic compote. So I'm gonna just get it liquidy enough. And then I'm gonna blend it with my little immersion blender. So that's gonna start soaking in there. Need a spoon. To the age of having no matching spoons anymore, because my kids take them and they disappear. Okay, so the reason we're making cranberry compote is because we're gonna make crepes. Crepes is one of the very first recipes I ever memorized on my own. So I'm gonna show you how to make them. They're very easy. And you can make really good gluten-free crepes too. The Thrive's gluten-free flour. I don't think it's on sale, but it's good if you can get it. So can we see here? Sorry, I've got lots of stuff in the way. So it's very easy. It's a cup of flour, a cup of milk, and 3 eggs is the foundation. So, whoops, just one hand is stupid. Don't melt little plastic bottle. 1 cup of flour, so you could use gluten-free flour, like I said, or just use regular flour. Really hard cooking one-handed. Then for the cup of milk, I'm going to use powdered milk because guess what's on sale for 50% off? Powdered milk. So that is cheap. So 1 cup of powdered milk is typically 3 tablespoons, but I usually just do a 1/4 cup because then it's more creamy, like whole milk. So a 1/4 cup. And then 3 eggs. My oven's beeping. It's not done, don't worry. Okay, they'll keep cooking. So I'm going to make the eggs. It will be 6 tablespoons of eggs. So that's about, did you see how I could pull that off? The pop tops are my friend with one hand. I'm trying to use my crank can opener, not so good. So the powdered eggs would be a 1/4 cup. It's 4 tablespoons. And then half of a 1/4 cup is 6 tablespoons. And then I put enough water to be the 1 cup of milk plus to reconstitute 6 eggs. That wasn't quite enough. I have to do math. I'm not ready to do math right now. That math might not have been good. I'm winging it. If my crepes turn out terrible, it's because I have no math brain. So I have this little, I'm not fancy. I got a little hand egg beater. I remember my mom had this and I loved it. And so like when I was married for Christmas, I'm like, can I get one of your fancy egg beaters? So it's nice because I can do it pretty easily left-handed. So I'm not trying to whisk with my left hand and just whisk up. Sometimes I've noticed the gluten-free flour can be a little bit clumpy in the recipe, but overall, if you have like a mixer, Works pretty good. Oh my gosh. This is a little tricky one-handed. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I need my hand mixer to, or my little electric mixer so it goes faster. We'll see. It's all good. So also for crepes, then you can add, so I sweeten them. If you wanted to make more savory crepes, you could leave it without the sweetener, but I do like a little bit of vanilla. Teaspoon of vanilla. My dad, he used to cook crepes on Mother's Day for us, and he would add Diet Coke to the crepes. It was pretty good actually. And then also sugar. So I usually do like a tablespoon of sugar to sweeten it up. So if you have ever made crepes, it's an easy way to make crepes. Like Krista says, you don't have to dirty your hands. You don't have to crack eggs with one hand. You can use 10-year-old eggs that are probably still only $1 a dozen. And voila, you got your food. Okay, so regular batter. Mine still has some lumps in it. I'm having a hard time. I was gonna have my daughter help me, but she's busy planning her birthday party, so we're gonna go with that. It's all good. So I'm gonna show you two things. So this is crepes. I'm gonna start them cooking on my pan. Forgot butter, so we'll just use pan spray. Hope it doesn't wreck my pan. So the way I do crepes, maybe I did add too much water. You want them thin anyways, though. So I just kind of put them on. So if I'm using a fry pan, then I kind of go like this and make them flatten. I don't have one of those fancy crepe sticks, but I just kind of do it with my measuring cup and even it out and try to make it in a circle. And then it makes it easier to cook them if you put a lid on top and it starts to kind of let the top part cook a little bit, like it steam heats it. It's probably gonna get.
Talk about fancy.
I'm so fancy.
I've never made crepes.
You need to go to Quebec and have some French crepes. So while that's, oh, that's already going fast. Never mind. I was gonna do the scrambled eggs at the same time. So then you just flip. So once the top is like almost not liquidy, I don't know if you can see the texture. You can't, but it's one-handed flip. Whoop. Oh yeah, baby.
My whole audience is clapping.
I need to do a, right? And usually, so you can put the lid on the other side, but the bottom's already cooked. It's nice golden brown. You got delicious crepes. And so we'll do sometimes like parts once, well, my husband does one savory and then he does like banana and Nutella. It's already cooked and they're not even lumpy. I guess it turned out okay. So let me show you in a plate. So with crepes, you can do them like giant and then kind of fold them up. We just do them like tubes. So, but I think on like the picture, they'll show like in triangles like that. So you can put your insides in and then it's in a triangle and it looks a little fancier if you have a few on the plate. But whenever I'm making crepes, it's like, as I cook one, then the rest are, you know, they're just taking them as I go. So we don't have time. So I'm going to show you the cranberry stuff on top in a second.
My
show
studio
you-
audience would like some crepes, please.
I'll mail them to you. Okay, so now we're gonna just show you plain old scrambled eggs. Because nobody, for some reason, like we show all this cooking with eggs and people are like, yeah, but can you really just make eggs? And the truth is, yes, you can. So we're gonna mix a half a cup. So I'm making 4 large eggs worth. So half a cup of egg mix. If you've ever cooked with like regular powdered eggs, it's kind of hard to get them to reconstitute. And then they're a lot of a lighter color. And they don't taste very good as just scrambled eggs. I'm not gonna lie. But for just baking, dried eggs are usually a little bit cheaper, like regular powdered eggs. And they work just fine, but anything where you're like cooking where you want to taste that egg flavor, it's really good with the scrambled egg mix. And oh, I forgot. If you usually do milk with your scrambled eggs, you can just put a splash of a tiny bit of our powdered milk in as well. Like whatever you would normally put in a regular eggs. We're gonna beat up the eggs. So I mentioned in the other recipes, you can do like dry with dry and wet with wet. But if you wanted to have like the eggs already mixed as eggs, this is what you would do. So I made the equivalent, like I said, of 4 pretty extra large eggs in here. And I'm gonna see if I can cook them on here without it making a huge mess. So I didn't want to get out my stove and fry pan. Have you ever cooked eggs on a griddle? I don't know. We'll see. See how much mess I can make. So we're gonna just go all out. I was gonna spread it out wide and then I'll lump it together as it goes. It's totally working.
Yeah, totally working.
Totally. It looks like a giant crepe almost. But it's actually eggs. No, don't go down the hole. Stop. Oh, it stopped. It stopped. Okay. While it's thinking, I'm gonna salt and pepper. Don't use the big whole side of your salt or you'll have really salty eggs. And then pepper. I don't like a lot of pepper, so I just put a little dabble. And then this is kind of how I do my eggs. I just sort of go like this and start scrambling them up. So if you ever cook regular eggs, this is pretty much how you cook your eggs, right? Except if you use your left hand, it's a little harder than your right hand. I didn't think this through very good with my left hand. Okay, they're working. Flip it.
You are doing fabulous. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. So the reason I wanted to do scrambled eggs, because if you get the idea with scrambled eggs, you can do so much with them. And I don't know, we don't have a lot of time. I might not actually make this whole thing, but we did this on another demo and I'll link to it still. But I always made egg salad with hard-boiled eggs. But I decided to try it for a little episode we did on like salads and stuff and make egg salad sandwiches out of the scrambled eggs. So all I did was make the scrambled eggs just like this. Like they're just normal scrambled eggs. Oh, this is in the way. You can't even, right? Normal scrambled eggs, guys. So whatever you would use normal scrambled eggs for, you can use this. If you make these, your kids won't notice that they're different. It actually kind of tastes a lot like if you go to a hotel and have their breakfast, they taste kind of like their eggs sometimes. So they probably use a similar thing. Now these are almost as cooked as I would normally make my scrambled eggs. So if you want to do like egg salad sandwiches, you just use the onions, celery, which Krista talked about the green onions being seasonal. Celery is also another one I think is sold out, but it lasts a long time. One can, at least for me. So stock up and then use it for a while because I never like buying celery because I use a little bit of it and then the bag goes rotten in my fridge. It's already brown. These eggs are done. Okay, so that was the equivalent, like I said, of 4 eggs. Can you see how many eggs this made? That's a lot. That's totally enough for 2, probably 3 people. Look, 3 little sections. Can you see them? No, I'm blocking. Okay, look how many eggs that is. And it was just 8 tablespoons.
That's a lot. I mean, that's 2 eggs, really. I make eggs all the time. That looks like 2 eggs, 1 serving. So I would cut things in half if you really need, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think it's about, it's like they're like medium eggs. The weight, 1 tablespoon is like a medium egg, 2 tablespoons like extra large. That's what I think. So anyways, so if you're making the egg salad, you do the celery and onions, you do a little bit of mayo, lemon juice, mustard, olive oil. You mix it all up and it's delicious. You can sprinkle it with dill weed. If you like a little crunch, you could add some fresh like celery or something if you wanted, but it's so good just as it is. And then put it on like a roll or a tortilla or whatever. You can also make breakfast burritos. So you can make them with the eggs and then just top them after with fresh ingredients or do like freeze dried sausage and cheese or whatever. And then you can also just, this is what I just wanted to show you. I said I had cheese. You can just make eggs and just eat them. So there's my eggs. No, I should put the cheese on first so it gets melty. So I did a little bit of this cheddar cheese earlier. So I did a tumble method. So I put it in here with some water until it was pretty much rehydrated. And then you can put it in the fridge if you want. Then you just sprinkle it on and it melts just like regular cheese. I put too much water. So what I usually do with my eggs, I'll pull back that. Left-handed is a little bit hard. So I bring my little tray like this and just set that over top. The cheese will get nice and melty. Don't put it on dry. I tried that with pizza back in the olden days when I was learning how to cook with food storage. Cheese that's dry does not magically reconstitute and melt. So it has to be already hydrated or refreshed, however you want to put it. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but it's already starting to get melty and I turned this off. So that is my eggs. I'm gonna hold this up. Normal scrambled eggs. These are, I think I told you, like 12-year-old eggs. So let's taste them. Regular eggs. They're good. Haven't eaten dinner yet. Too busy getting ready to cook. I'm done. I gotta take my cookies out of the oven. Then I'll hold them up for you while you finish, Krista.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. We had so much to show. We're
I know.
almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. I promise. Okay, so while Jody's been talking, I got my cupcakes out of the oven, and in the recipe that we'll be sending you, it'll have chocolate icing, a recipe. It was really easy to do, and this is my cheater. I put it in a Ziploc bag. I cut the tip at the end because Krista doesn't have piping bags. One of these days, she wants to like. I've seen the videos. I want to do it, but this is what we're doing. Well, let me take this one because it's right there. So we're just gonna ice this puppy right here. Right? That's all we're doing. Right? So we're putting a little icing on there. This is a chocolate. It's a little bit of butter. Like it was like 3 tablespoons of butter, a tablespoon of cream cheese, and some powdered sugar and chocolate. So that is our chocolate cupcakes. Right? This is our bread that just came out of the oven. I'm cutting up some slices right now. Look at this. Look at this. You can see, oh, that's hot. But you can see the cranberries and the peaches in there. I cannot wait to try that. And then I got to get my little tartlets out. They needed another like minute in the oven. I need hot pads. Maybe not unburn myself.
I think Jen will like the bread.
She's not getting any bread.
Oh, shoot.
And we'll get these little tartlets out and put them on the plate too. These probably need to sit for a minute, actually. So I am going to come show them to you. But they need to sit for a minute before I take them out. So I don't want to take you. But there's my little finished product.
Yum.
Okay, so we'll put these on the plate too, and you'll get the recipe for these guys. And that's our 3 recipes. Any questions?
I'm gonna show my finished one because I forgot to put my cranberry. So I just blended up what we had soaked. And
Oh, yeah.
yummy fruit topping for my crepe.
Yum.
You can eat that.
That looks so good.
These cookies don't flatten, so don't be afraid. And with those balls, I even have to like kind of like push them like that a little bit. I'm not supposed to eat gluten, but I tasted the dough to see if it was nasty because it was my old sample thing, and it's still delicious. So unfortunately for my husband, we're gonna have delicious cookies that he's gonna be tempted by. And then my eggs that had cheese on them, I'm gonna show you the melty part. Melty, cheesy eggs. Ooh, you can see it melting. So that's my 3. 1, 2, 3. You can even cook it one-handed. Okay. That's it. Now any questions? Okay. Anyone have any questions before we hop off? Or we can say goodnight. Try all the recipes. I know, sorry, Kat, the egg salad. I'll link to the one and people can watch it later because it was actually awesome. I've made it a few times since then. Also, a really good one is potato salad using Thrive potatoes. And it's so fast. I never make potato salad because it takes so long. But yeah. All right, folks. If you have questions or about ordering or about being a consultant like I talked about to save money on your own shopping or share or cook with friends, like it's fun. We love doing this together. We love cooking for people and sharing just the blessing of preparedness and having food in your home. If emergencies happen or if job loss or prices raise, it's food, it's insurance. It's like food insurance. It's like an investment too. It's like, okay, what's gonna go up? If food prices skyrocket, like I'm doing great. So Sharice, I'm already in PT. They made me start it like 3 days after surgery, but they move my arm for me. I cannot move it myself yet. I'm not supposed to. So all right, yep. Kat says new consultant offer 20% off your own orders in free food is the great way to get started. It's true. Because you can use it like the next month, however much you earn that month, and just build up. I got so much of my food for free and half off just from sharing with others and from buying my own and earning credits and stuff. So it's awesome if you're looking to stockpile, and times are crazy right now. Jodi, yes, I can send you a link. All right, I'll throw the link in the chat. And then if there's any other questions, did you see any other questions, Krista?
I didn't. I'm not sure what Jodi means by, is there a sheet that shows the levels with Thrive?
I think like the consultant levels or like the kits or something.
Yeah, there's only one join fee now, which is awesome.
But there are extra, like you can get extra kits of food with it.
Yeah.
Oh, the leadership levels. Yeah. So if you look on this page, there's like a whole commission plan and everything. So if it is something like you're looking for a part-time gig, it's pretty cool too. And we can help you get started with that as well. Yeah. For anybody that's interested. So I'm going to leave that for a second. Any other? Did I catch all the questions? I think we did.
We did. I think we're good.
I want to send your food to me now, and I'm sure your studio audience wants to eat yours. Yes. So that bread is not, it's like a flat bread. It's like banana bread. So it doesn't look like a big fluffy yeasty loaf. There was no yeast in it. So it's dense, but it's so good.
Yeah, mine is the same way. It's pretty thin. You can see that it's pretty thin, but
yeah, that's what I was saying.
And I was supposed to cook it in a smaller pan. So it would have been more loaf size if I had done that. But
I didn't want people to think my bread recipe's weird, but mine turned out thin too. So it's all good. It's so good.
No worries.
All right. Enjoy. Thanks for being on live. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay and watch for those recipes and join us next month. We do it the second Tuesday of every month. And I'm sure next month we'll be doing Valentine's goodies. So or
Mm.
Super Bowl. I don't know. It depends on the timing of it. All right. We'll see everyone later. If there's no more questions, if there are, just email or text us, whoever invited you, and we'll help you get started with whatever you need. Bye.
Take care.